So, good evening, everyone. My name is Carrie Davis, and I'm the president and CEO of Wealth Watchers Incorporated. We are located in Jacksonville, Florida, but our footprint goes through Northeast Florida, Southeast, Southwest, and Central Georgia. Our program tonight, which is called USDA Orientation and Business Planning 101, will go over not only what you need in order to do business with USDA, but to also just in general, how to successfully stand up your business. So we have some great presenters today. I will have them to introduce themselves, and then we want to know who's with us. So Hurtis, if you can introduce yourself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Hurtis Wyche. I am the program manager of the C.R.O.P program, also known as the Comprehensive Rural Opportunities Program. I'm going to be giving you guys a little bit of information about the USDA and how to utilize their resources and services today. I hope you guys are ready to learn something.
Alfreda, if you can introduce yourself.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alfreda Boney, and I am the owner and consultant with PSC Consulting. I'm a business strategist consultant for businesses and nonprofits, and I'm excited to be able to just give you some insight and tips that will help you take your business to the next level. So stay tuned.
Great. So to get us started, we're going to launch a poll. And this is just so we'll know who's in the room and also what type of businesses you have. So we've launched a poll. If you guys could take the poll, that would be great. Perfect. Okay, so let's see. This is let's see. Here's our survey. So we have two of you that are in the agribusiness sector, three that are not. Three of you have successfully formed a business, and we've only have one individual who's ever received funding from USDA. And let's see. Not certain, Hurtis, what this last one is. Now, also in the chat, it would be great if you could just share where you're from. And don't be shy, guys. This is going to be a very interactive workshop. Thank you, Hurtis, for starting us off. And I'll put, oh, that's the direct message. So we need to do for everyone. Let's see. Are you guys able to write in the chat? Because we're not seeing any. Cindy? Let's see. I am going to allow to talk. There you go, Cindy. You had your hand raised?
Carrie, I see someone in Q&A says it's not allowing them to write in the chat.
Let's take a look.
It says it's disabled.
Let's take a look here. Just get you. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's try that now. So, okay, perfect. It is now open. Thanks, Cindy. Let's see. Move to the top. There we go. Okay, so let's see, where is everyone from? It looks like currently in Jacksonville, North Carolina, moving back to Jacksonville. And it seems like, let's see, everyone else is from Jacksonville. Perfect. So I'm glad to see where everybody's from. And now we have an idea of the type of businesses has everyone is in. So as I stated before, this workshop is going to be able to provide information to those of you that are in the agribusiness space and those of you that are in business. One of the things I will share with you with USDA is that all businesses, regardless of what type of business you are, there are opportunities for you to do business with USDA, whether it's real estate, whether it's in the utility fields, marketing, service provider. So oftentimes when people think of USDA, they think of very narrow view of what USDA does. And through their many programs and departments, they do everything from lending to housing, economic development. They do outreach and education. So there are many, many different programs that USDA does. And as we go through the evening, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A or raise your hand. We want this to be a very interactive workshop. So with that being said, Hurtis, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I will make you the presenter so that you can go over with your PowerPoint. Okay, Hurtis, you got the juice now.
All right. Okay, let's share the screen. All right, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone's doing good. Y'all can't really speak back to me. Okay. So you guys, we're going to talk a little bit about the USDA to get a little bit better understanding of who they are and what services they provide and why is it beneficial. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to work back. Okay, I had to move that down.
Just start with your slideshow, Hurtis, from the beginning. No, right here. Come down. Okay, there you go.
There we go. Okay. All right, so welcome again. Okay. Did that. Okay, so understanding the USDA, the role of the USDA and the USDA programs and initiatives. So the USDA is a government agency who is the lead over the policies of our food and agriculture industry, dealing with nutrition and a number of other things that fall up under agriculture. So under the USDA, they provide a number of services These services fall up under 4 different categories. You have funding to fund your operation, to manage your operation, to conserve your operation, or recover your operation. And these services are provided through a number of USDA partners and agencies. Some of the main agencies are the FSA, the NRCS, and Risk Management Agency.
And Hurtis, because they don't necessarily understand the acronyms that we do, can you state what those acronyms stands for? For instance, FSA, NRCS, because we love with the government and nonprofits, we love acronyms.
Got you. Okay, so the FSA stands for Farm Service Agency. NRCS stands for Natural Resource Conservation Services. Okay, and the RMA, or Risk Management Agency, they're also one of the partners of USDA. So some things that you need to know before you get started with the USDA. Well, what are the benefits? If you're a farmer and you want to ensure that you're protecting your investment, this is the best way to do it. When you need information and resources in order to better manage your operation or to expand it, the USDA is the agency who's going to provide that information and those resources to you, and also provide you with a network of individuals who can assist you throughout your journey. Okay. So registration with the USDA. So in order to get started with the USDA, there are a number of things that you're going to need. Okay. You have to register. That's the first thing. If you're already a farmer, but you're not registered, meaning that you have land, but you haven't utilized USDA programs or services, this is something that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to register as a farmer so that they can recognize you and your land. If you do not have any land and you want to be recognized as a farmer, or you have a business, let's say you have a business, not necessarily farmer, but let's say you have an agribusiness. One thing you have to do is register your business. If your business is not registered, then they will not recognize you. But the producers are provided with different funding, as well as those who deal in the other markets of agriculture. Okay.
And Hurtis, when you say register, do you mean registering, if I have land, do I have to register my land by getting a farm number?
Yes, ma'am.
When you say register, can you elaborate a little more?
Okay, yes, ma'am. So you have to register your land. If you're utilizing your land for business to produce a product or service, then they want you to register that land. So your land is going to be issued a farm number once you do that. And when going through that process, there are some documents that I'm going to be showing you guys as well. So in order to do this is it. All right, so can you guys see this? So this is the form that you will use in order to register your business or to register your land and to receive a farm number. Excuse me. You will have to fill this information out, provide them with information stating or acknowledging that you have a long-term lease or that you own the property, and they will contact you back, providing you with the farm number. If there's any issues that you may come across, then they'll reach back out to you and let you know what you would need to do in order to get that situated.
And to add to what Hurtis is saying, when you are applying for your farm number, which is the first step, if you have land, and that's if you own the land, if it's heirs property, because in the last farm bill, they allowed a provision to allow you, if your farm is heirs property, which was new in the farm bill, you can still get a farm number. Now, if you're leasing a property, one of the things that you may want to do is ask the landowner if they already have a farm number. And if they do, then they'll break it down in tracts. But you will need a lease if you are leasing the land, as Hurtis stated. And if you're not leasing the land, but you actually own the land, there is a series of documents that you'll need to provide prior to. Also, I just want to add, depending on where you're located. So for instance, many of you are in Jacksonville. So the farm service agency that you would reach out to is the one in Baldwin, Florida. So as more people join the workshop, or if you're viewing this as a recorded workshop, understand that you will need to find out where the farm service agency is for your county. And that's where you're gonna go in order to obtain your farm number. But prior to going, you want to make sure that you have all of those documents that they're gonna require you to have in order to get your farm number. Okay, Hurtis, turn it back over to you.
So, and additionally to registering to get your farm number, you also want to check the eligibility for other programs, see what else that what other resources you're able to tap into. So there is a minority registration form that you can also complete as a minority farmer, and you can receive additional benefits as well as programs that are offered. Hold on, I'll show you guys what that form looks like. So this is the minority farmer. So you want to register as a minority farmer as well. If you're a woman, if you're a veteran, these are different categories that you can fall into where you receive additional services or programs or opportunities based off of your ethnicity or background, cultural background. So you want to make sure that you fill out all of this information completely. Don't leave anything blank. If there's anything that you do not understand, there's someone who can assist you. There's someone at one of the offices, or you can reach out to us. We provide technical assistance where we help walk you through the process and help you understand everything step by step. Also registering to get a DUNS and SAMS number. If you have products or services that you're looking to sell, you're going to need to get you a DUNS and SAMS number. This form right here talks about what a DUNS number is and why you would need one. So on here, it states that that some people do not need to have a DUNS number. It provides all the information for you. It says NRCS does not enter a DUNS number does not enter into a DUNS number or federal contract for grants and agreements with parties that are not landowners or producers. And thus, these entities continue to be subject to the DUNS and SAMS registration. So some people, I'm sorry, I might be messing my words up a little bit. Some people are required to have a DUNS number in their operation and some are not. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you read through the information and see where you fall in to make sure that you don't have to provide any additional information. And if you do, you want to make sure that you have that information to provide and that you use whatever documentation to support your registration. So,
and Hurtis, there's a question in reference to if you don't have a business, can you register with your social security number?
That's a good question.
And I don't think you can because SAMS requires an EIN number. And so does DUNS. They require EIN numbers and not social security numbers. So they are going to more than likely have you to create a business. And it's not a difficult process, and that's one of the things that Alfreda will go over later. But with Sam's and with Dunn's, they're going to ask you for an EIN number. And you can only get your EIN number once you've created a business.
After you register your business and everything, you have your land registered. Also, when it comes to knowing what you want to do with the land and what you're able to do with the land, there's something that you are going to have to go through the USDA to kind of see what options you have. And through their NRCS, the conservation program, they provide those services. So you also fill out an application with the NRCS to have them come out and provide you with the conservation plan. What they're going to do is they're going to assess the properties of your land and let you know the conditions of it and if what you're trying to do fits with what's with the conditions that you have. Okay. So there's 5 steps. There's different fact sheets that they provide you to help guide you through the process. So NRCS provides 5 steps: planning, application, eligibility, ranking, and implementing. So these are the stages that you will go through in the process once you apply through the NRCS for conservation.
And Hurtis, if I can just add, once you get and what we're doing is giving you a step-by-step process. So the first step, of course, is you want to make sure that you've registered with USDA, that you have a farm number, that you've set up your business and you have a DUNS number and a SAMS number. But once you get to NRCS, one of the things that we share is that, especially whether you have horses or whether you're growing crops on the land, but you want to sit down with a NRCS representative to talk about what your goals and objectives are as it relates to the land and conservation, because through NRCS, they have a list of conservation standards. I think Hurtis knows I always mess it up. So it's conservation standards, Hurtis?
Yeah,
standard practices. And so anything from irrigations to fencing to
hardscaping to facilities, the whole
you
9
know,
yards.
so whether you have livestock or you growing produce, there is a conservation plan within NRCS that you would qualify for, you could qualify for. However, the first step is to have that conservation plan, because also that conservation plan also provides you extra points in terms of because all the applications are competitive.
Like I said, there's a ranking. So when you have certain things in place in your business, when you have certain experience, when you've been exposed to certain things, then they see they kind of put you on a scale to see where you're at as far as receiving resources. So another thing, what they're going to do, what they're doing is through the conservation is they're helping you to identify sustainable practices for your land so that you can ensure, generational wealth and legacy, because a lot of the times, the land will become passed down to the next generation or maybe bought or sold. So we want to make sure that the land is being kept up and is being secured and safe. Not being polluted or anything like that. Okay. Go back to the PowerPoint. Okay. Good. So yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So we talked about the different programs available for business partnerships and enhancements. So So let's talk about some of the programs and services that are available. So through the FSA, they offer assistance, crop assistance. They offer down payment loans. They offer farm operating loans, farm ownership loans, farm storage facility loans, marketing assistance loans, micro loans, organic certification cost share, and youth loans as well. So youth are also considered, can be considered farmers, even, if they're not old enough to, uh, you know, well, not, I wouldn't say they're old enough to have their own business. So if they're from the age of 10 up to 20, the USDA considers them a valuable asset, and programs for cultivating the next generation are provided. So the youth loan program is one of them. The farm to school program is something that they offer through the school systems and institutions. And there's also the People's Garden, is one of the other programs that they offer for the community through youth. The NRCS offers.
I'm
Yes,
sorry, and Hurtis, if we could just pause for a second, because I know that was a lot of information. So when it comes to FSA, FSA is the arm where you will do most of your loans. So as Hurtis said, if you were looking for a loan related to your agribusiness, that would be the area that you would look to. They have a variety of loans, and Hurtis, if you can pull that up, that website up to just be able to show them. But one of the best kept secrets that I always like to talk about, and we can talk about it more once we go through the presentation, is the FSA youth loan. This loan is only available, as Hurtis said, for young people ages 10 through 20. Hurtis, is that the age
yeah,
group?
10 through 20. Yes, ma'am. 10 through
10
20.
through
10 through 8.
20.
Actually, I'm sorry, 10 through 18. I'm sorry. I gave them two extra years. It's 10 through 18.
So, actually, no, I think they bumped it up to 20, Hurtis. But this program is really good. For instance, let's say you have young people that are in your family, um, and they own horses, for instance. As a young person, they could take out a FSA loan in order to buy more livestock. Now they have to have um a mentor, but that could be a family member, through that could be through 4-H, etc. But it's a great program. I think it's one of the most underutilized program for our young people, because think about it, from the time that they're 10 years old, they get to become an entrepreneur and they get access to capital. So they're building their financial foundation as it relates to being an entrepreneur. So that is definitely, and the thing is, I often say, so in my family, we have a huge family. So let's say, there's 5 kids. Each of those kids can have their own enterprise. Now, that could be that they all decide to go into horses. So you got 5 different enterprises, but they're sharing resources. So I think it's an excellent program that definitely goes underutilized. And also with FSA, as a minority, as a woman, as a veteran, you do get extra credit when applying for FSA loans. Oh, Hurtis, I'll turn it back over to you. And while Hurtis is looking, while we're waiting, does anyone have any questions? Because we want this to be interactive, and we want to make sure that you get all of your questions answered. So does anybody have any questions? You guys are quiet tonight. Oh, not Cindy said not yet, but they're coming. They're coming. Okay, Cindy. That's too funny. Okay, Hurtis.
Okay. Share screen.
Look, under the youth law, and I'll go ahead, Hurtis, let me pull up
Did I do it right?
FS.
Go.
Here, we can go through that a little more. Hold on. So you can, so in terms of the youth loan, go ahead, Hurtis, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you good. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out how to share the information to the screen again.
Here, I'll do it from my side. You gotta love technology. Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it don't. Here, let's see if I can get it up. Okay. Let's go in here. Artist, I'm gonna take back your host. And then let's see, there were some more questions. Let me make sure I got all that. Okay, and then. Okay. Reclaim host. And I'll share my screen. And let's look here. So here are all the programs and services. Hold on. That you can get through FSA. And let me and the one good thing about FSA programs, hold on, is that each one comes with a fact sheet. So if I go in here and type in the youth loan, there's actually a fact sheet that's related to that. Let me pull this up here. And here's the fact sheet. And so here you go. You can see here that these loans can be used. Oh, and it is 20, so I was
20.
correct
Okay,
the first time.
okay, all
So
right.
you the youth can get loans up to $5,000 to be eligible 10 to 20. The project must be modest size, educational, initiated, and developed. Now, here's what I will share with you because we worked with FSA is that the young people they do not have to be in an organized club such as 4-H or FFA. If you have a group of young people, like one of our producers started a youth cattle program, a youth cattleman program, and he has the land and he is the sponsor for them. And so they get together, they're learning not only the business aspect of it, but they're also learning about the livestock itself. But you see here, they can buy livestock, seeds, equipment, and supplies. They can buy the tools and equipment needed. You know, and the payment reschedule varies depending on the type of project. So what we've seen some young people do is that they have used this program to raise livestock to be able to show at their county fair. But it could be used for any type of agriculture program. let's see here. And I'm gonna put this in the chat so that if anybody would like it, let's see here, let me stop sharing here, put this in the chat. Yes, so you can use, FSA does have a product for buying land. There you go. So there's the farm labor. And then, let me go back and I want to share just some more of the programs that they have available. Let's see here.
If you tap in fact sheets, it'll kind of pull up a nice little list of all of them. They have stuff, beekeeping, all of that.
And let's see. Hurtis, go ahead, because I want to pull up, while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up some more information.
So from livestock, the crops, the FSA can provide you with assistance. So while Carrie is pulling that information up, to give you a little bit more details and show you a little bit how to navigate through the website, we'll keep it rolling, Okay. All right. So the Risk Management Agency helps out with federal crop insurance. So when you guys are growing your food, you're growing your crops, be mindful that we are dealing with nature. So when it comes to natural disasters, you are able to insure your crops. So if they're lost because of a natural disaster, you can be compensated for that, but you have to document and track your produce and what you're growing, your revenue, all of that. And you have to provide that information to the USDA, the Risk Management Agency, through insuring your crops. Once you sign up your crops, they're going to ask you some information as far as how much land you have, what you're producing, the purpose of the produce, and all of those good things. And that's going to help you create insurance for your crops. They're going to provide you with a list that tells you what crops are eligible for insurance and what crops are not eligible. They do not insure all crops, but majority of the crops they do. So you guys want to make sure that you do your research on that, based off of what you're growing, what can actually be insured. There may be something you want to make some decisions on before you doing the planning process. Okay.
And Hurtis, I just want to add here, you guys can see our screen, and you'll also notice that for USDA, they have a great beginning farmers website with lots of tools and resources. And the other thing is, we know we live in Florida, most of us, and there are natural disasters. And so, and it doesn't have to be a hurricane. We've had droughts, we've had flooding. So you want to ensure, because there's nothing worse than either buying livestock, horses, livestock, they're not cheap. And if something happens to them, you want to ensure that they're indemnified. So you want to make sure that you're insured. Okay, go ahead, Hurtis.
So the USDA updates their website. FSA, they're always updating their website. They're always gathering information through the work that we do. They gather information on how to better assist farmers, landowners, and ranchers, so that they can make the process a little bit more easier and eliminate some of those barriers. So if you look at the website, they'll provide you with resources that you can look into for training, professional development, research on whatever operations that you're in, and also they also provide you with a network of individuals to assist you. You can look into different agencies, organizations, institutions that are connected, that provide resources, and they also provide funding for professional development too. So if this is something that you would like to pursue as a career and you have a passion for it, make sure that you're tracking your progress and everything that you're doing. You guys can also go to our website, www.crop.org, and go to Get Started on our website and complete the client intake form. It's going to ask you a series of questions just so we can kind of see where you are. But this is going to allow us to follow up with you and make sure that you're doing that work and tracking your information and you're getting those resources and that professional development that you need so that you can meet your goals and starting your enterprise or expanding it and maintaining it. Okay. I gotta figure out how to share the screen again. Okay. Oh, I think I figured it out. Okay. All right.
Oh, no, that's because I haven't made you the host yet. I still have the power, Hurtis. But I am gonna put our website in the chat.
Okay.
Let's see, please add. Cindy is on it tonight. Let's see here, Cindy. Let me see, because it's only telling me that I'm sending direct messages to her. So let me do this and host and panels. Yeah, to everyone. Here we go. So that is our website. I'm also going to put the website in for FSA and all the different programs that we're discussing. Curtis, you can go ahead. I can do that while you're talking.
Okay, so yeah. So if you guys go to our website, you can find different resources as well on there and trainings that are coming up. The SBA is also SBA and SCORE is also partners of the USDA who provide free resources and mentorships. But as you guys can see, we also have someone here today who will be speaking to you guys about business planning 101. So we have a mentor here that you guys can speak with it as well. But these resources and training information is for you guys to use throughout your journey. We're going to be posting things every month so that you can. We're going to be posting things every month so that you can kind of stay up to date with what's going on, and so that you're following through. You're able to follow through with some of those goals that you have with becoming a farmer. Also, you have to show that you have some type of experience. So if you can get with the local farmer, urban farm, garden, community garden, get some experience and getting your hands dirty, learning about the soil, learning about livestock. There's different farmers within our network. If you see some of the workshops and trainings that we provide, you will actually have an opportunity to kind of travel to certain sites and kind of get some hands-on or see some visual training on how to actually run the operation. So whether it's livestock or crops. Okay.
And Hurtis, also, as you shared earlier, here's the one thing I want to make sure that everyone understands is that you don't have to go on this journey alone. We have a team here at Wealth Watchers, and we've been working with USDA since 2000, so almost 15 years. And so we work very closely with USDA and their different programs and services. And so, for instance, if you not certain what you need in order to get a farm number, not only can we assist you, but we can call ahead of time so that the FSA agents know you're coming. I mean, there's not always been a time that USDA has been user friendly. It's still not user friendly, but we have identified ways to make that process easier for you. Also, the one thing that most individuals don't realize with USDA, they have services available for urban, if you're an urban farmer, or if you're in a rural area. So you don't just have to be in a rural area in order to be able to participate in USDA programs. And I think that's important to know.
Uh, Another thing, when you guys are reaching out to receive resources and information to manage, start, or expand your business or operation, please include all of the information, at least your contact information, so that they can reach out to you. If they do not understand fully what you're looking for as far as services, they're going to reach out to you. And if they can't reach out to you because you did not provide the proper contact information, phone number, or email address where it's legible, where they can see it, they're going to have some issues providing you with services. So please make sure that you are clear with providing that information and writing that information down. So we are.
We're gonna pause for a second, Hurtis.
Okay.
Seta stated that she needs help with DUNS and the SAMS number and a few other documents for grant funding purposes. And Seta, that is definitely something that we can help you with. And of course, we're gonna start from ground zero. And that is definitely a great segue, I think, Hurtis, into Afrida's portion of the workshop. But before we transition to Afrida part, so what we really wanted to do was just give you an overview of all the USDA programs and services. And we didn't even scratch the surface. We focused on just a couple of the programs. For instance, FSA, because all roads start with FSA. You got to have that farm number. You got to have, all the information. You got to have a lease. So some of you, again, if you are leasing your land, you want to make sure that you have a long-term lease, especially when you start getting into equip and other practices through NRCS. And I just wanted to go before we go back before we turn it over to Alfreda, I just wanted to go back and go through some of the other programs that FSA offers, because there's quite a few. Although I've put the information in the chat, I just wanted to go over this with you. So let me.
Scholarship programs. It's a lot of different programs.
So you've got, this is under the FSA website. You got the farm loan home program, which we talked about. You've got your beginner farm and rancher loans. And some of their FSA loans are what they call direct loans, which means the loans are from USDA to the borrower. And some of them are guaranteed loans, which means they're working with other lending partners and they're guaranteeing those loans. You got emergency farm loans, which you normally see these, once a disaster has been declared by FEMA. And there's farm operating loans. I think Cindy or someone asked about farm ownership loans. So there's information there, different funding. The micro loans, which are the loans that are $50,000 or less. And as I stated earlier, minority and women farmers and ranchers. Again, you have the youth loan program. So with FSA, those are all the different programs that are out there. And then through EQIP, again, which is NRCS, and EQIP stands for Environmental Quality Incentive Program. You can get what they call cost shares, which means that USDA will pay a portion and you'll pay a portion. Typically, the portion, if you shop it right, the portion that you pay is very minimal, if anything. So through NRCS EQIP program, and I'll put that in the chat as well, that can be used, like I said, for all types of conservation practices. So while I'm going to stop sharing, and before we transition into the business aspect of it, I want to know if anybody have any questions, if you're finding this information useful, if there's any other questions you may have on this part. And we will have a time at the end for question and answers. And because I want to see all your lovely faces, I'll probably end up promoting all of y'all to panelists so we can see you. Thanks, Cindy. Okay, Alfreda, with that, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, I'm over here learning like the rest of them and taking notes as well, because what I have understood, and as Carrie shared earlier, is that, this is an unheard of secret. And if you are taking notes, you definitely want the recording after this, because there is so much opportunity right now that is at our fingertips, and we pretty much are not taking advantage of it. So I'm excited. Thank you so much for this opportunity again. I am excited to talk with all of you about Business Planning 101. As I shared earlier, my name is Alfreda Boney, and I am the owner of PSC Consulting. I'm a business strategist consultant, working with small businesses, entrepreneurs, and nonprofits as they deal with, creation, scale, growth, tapping into, those unknown or sometimes unfamiliar streams of revenue, to business, but also helping with workforce development and professional development training. And so just taking notes tonight, I have learned so much from the team as it relates to this agribusiness. And I know some of you have. And I noticed that within the first poll, I didn't get the complete number. So I really want to start out by getting you interactive and using your fingers to do the talking tonight. That there were some of you who said you do have an agribusiness. And then there were a few of you who said you are trying to start a business. So if you could put the number 1 in the chat, if you do not have a business at this very moment, but you have an idea, you have a thought process, a vision, could you put the number 1 in the chat, just so that'll help me to know who I am talking to? Okay, Miss Dana, thank you so much. Just understanding like who this could really, really benefit tonight. Miss Bernice, thank you. Okay. And then who was that had the agribusiness? I would love to know who that was. And I'm excited to when I saw Miss April's comment in the chat, because she said she's in Jacksonville, but she got some land in Fitzgerald, Georgia. And I'm actually from a little city close to you called Jacksonville, Georgia. So that's Terriffair County. So I'm very familiar, and from that area, and being a product of Air Property. And so it's like my mind is running already in order to tap into the resources that Carrie and Hurtis has just shared with us. But, when you think about, business, a lot of times we get excited about the idea of business. We get excited of being able to say, okay, I'm going to leave this 9 to 5. I'm going to work myself out of, the rat race, so to speak, and I want to tap into business. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of people do not tell us the actual foundation of business. We just kind of jump out there, when, in our backs and say, well, I'm just going to do this. And then when stuff really starts hitting you, like the information that they were sharing earlier about those, you say that's the truth, Miss Cindy. It is, because I was right there with you when I was. I actually moved here. I'm actually, in Jacksonville, Florida now, which is different, but definitely when I moved from Georgia, Southeast Georgia, in the Brunswick Golden Isles area, there was nobody actually giving us information about the foundation of business, right? And if I can get you to put a number 2, tell me how many of you honestly have just been told that, okay, go out there and just get you an LLC and you can really just start a business, nothing else, just jump out there and get that. How many of you have been exposed to that before? You just heard somebody say, well, all you need is an LLC. You don't have to do too much else, and just get started. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is the right crowd. See, a lot of times we follow the leader. We really have never been taught the actual concept of having a real strong foundation so that we can be successful in business. Okay. Same thing that I had a vision. I was working in corporate America, working for the Department of Labor, was exposed to seeing a need, right? Seeing an opportunity that I could be a part of changing, the direction of people. And at that time it was helping them to find employment. And so all I knew was, hey, just go register with the Secretary of State, register with SunBiz, and you just get started. But there is so much that has been left out. And so tonight, I just want to give you some insights, some resources that you can tap into, some ideas that you're going to follow through. And because of what they have shared tonight, I'm really going to tap into agribusiness, because my mind was already just twirling about, there's some businesses that, as I see that there's a lot of ladies on the line, that you could tap into that could go right along with what they have shared with you with USDA. But not only this, just across the board, whatever industry or whatever type of product or service that you feel is your gift, your talent, but your idea that you can go into, you can still use the same, strategies to move forward. Okay. So what I want to start off with was what I saw when there was a question asked about formation. And I think it was a young lady who said, okay, I need to know, my numbers. I need to know what the EIN is. I need to know what a DUNS is. But we definitely want to tap into the structure of a business. And again, like I said, everybody tells you just go get a LLC, but there are a lot of different ways that you can actually legally structure your business so that you're getting the best benefit as you grow and scale. Am I able to share my screen if possible? Okay. Let's see, can I?
Yes, Alfreda, I gave you the power.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so let's go in here. Let's see. We're gonna do this one right here. So is everybody able, and I can't see chat, so maybe Carrie, if you can help me, if they're able to see the screen that is showing up. Is everybody
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So again, like I said, when I started out in business, all I heard was an LLC. You pay maybe $100 and some odd dollars, you get registered, you come up with the name. But a lot of times they don't tell you a process, because you could run into someone else having that name. You could run into different things, but I feel like we need to have a foundation of just understanding how we should really tap into, really creating a business that has sustainability, that is going to last and can be left, for generations to come. And so here we have the actual different types of formations of business. And this is really good, especially if you are, as some of you said, still trying to figure out where do I fit? What do I want to do, and how do I want to do it? And sometimes you may just want to test the field, so to speak. So they have what is called a sole proprietor. Now, again, sometimes you will see people that use this as what they say, a DBA. They may say that you're doing business as, and a lot of times, until you are able to show profit, sometimes it's wise to start off at this level, only because, yes, you're personally liable for your business debts. You're really reporting what on your taxes is called a Schedule C, right? And I will give a disclaimer. I am not a tax professional, so I am not giving advice tonight, or real legal advice, but just, what I have learned over the years. But definitely you want to always try to connect yourself to those who are subject matter experts in that field. That means an attorney, that means, your tax, preparer, or your accountant, because they're going to know the actual laws. We don't want to do things that we know we're not the experts in, because then we are here liable. We don't want that. But as I said, a sole proprietor, that's a simple and inexpensive way to create and operate. And again, because this one is and can be done under your Social Security number, it just allows you to really kind of make sure that this is the right form of a business that you want to get into. Because again, sometimes think about it. When the pandemic hit, there was a lot of pandemicpreneurs. And I'm going to give you the example of what they started out with. You remember when everybody was building out the mask? Everybody jumped on the train and started sewing or creating masks. And then they got a little special and they threw some glitter and some bling on it. Just different things that obviously was a way to make income because we were, housed inside. But again, it was not made to be this long-lasting business. It might have taken the form of start out as a hobby. So that is where this sole proprietorship could really be beneficial if it's something that you do as like on the side of your 9 to 5, because I've always been one as an advocate to say, you want to work yourself out of your full-time job. You don't want to just jump out here, especially without having a firm plan. And we're going to talk about the business plan in a little while. But just to have an understanding to see, is there a market for what I want to produce and what I want to sell? How many people actually, are in need of this? We also use, the question of asking yourself, are you creating a solution or a treatment to something that may already exist? Because a lot of times we see people that will start businesses just because they see somebody else start one. Like, let's be honest, sometimes we say that looks easy. I can cook, I can bake, I can, do these things. But you really want to make sure that you are, finding something that is very, long-term for you, or if it is just something you are doing just to supplement current income, just be mindful. We also have what is called a general partnership. Now, this is where you may have maybe like a husband and wife team, best friends team. They're coming together. And so they, both as partners are reporting their profits, their losses in the business. It's still exactly simple and easy to do. And, they're raising money, probably with, without having to have outside investors. So it could be where they do what is called crowdfunding. You see how people create GoFundMes and say stuff, outside of, just personal loss. They'll say, hey, I'm trying to build this, do a project or do a pilot program, and I need some investors. So that you could do stuff like that. You have a limited partnership, obviously, that is showing personal liability, but as long as they don't participate in management, and it does provide the limited partners a return on their investment, right? Because now when someone invests, they hope to get, dividend from that investment. And usually you'll see companies that do this in real estate, as it says, but it is more expensive than a general partnership. So those are the things that you have to pay attention. Again, we always jump on this limited liability company or LLC that we call our businesses. But some of us have really never understood what its actual identity means and what it actually, means to you when you file taxes and so forth. So it does protect you as being an independent person, but it does, it's the way of saying that what if you created a product or service and obviously someone didn't like it, maybe it, caused harm in some way and they wanted to come and sue you. You don't want that to happen. So it kind of protects your private assets, right? It makes a separation between what is personal and what is your professional assets. And so they do allow you to choose different ways of being taxed, obviously through IRS, and it is more expensive to create. And the sale of your interests, it can become public, right? And so it's easier to maintain than a corporation. Now you have a professional level, and these are really where you get into those really higher type levels of business, like your corporations, those, maybe multiple members, multiple partners. But just for the sake of time, we just want to give you an idea of where you can start, because even being when you want to step out, being an entrepreneur, being a small business owner, maybe even a franchisee, finding a franchise that you want to tap into, you should know the structure. You cannot, depend on other people to know that structure for you. You need to do your research just to make sure. But if you're just starting out and you really want to get your, kind of find your footing, you need to tap into understanding structure, understanding what could help you. Because again, what if it looks like you're doing business, but you're really only making maybe less than $10,000, right? To go into a status of maybe LLC, again, this is just opinion, might be too high, to tap into. So you want to maybe tap into, okay, let me just do this business as a DBA. under my social. I get to file my, my revenue, but it's still going to be just on your regular income tax, and you'll be able to grow the business. And then when you really see return, now you're able to really establish the business so that it goes to a higher level. And that's what we call growth and scale. And so, like I said, again, when I started, nobody was telling us this. Nobody actually is really helping us to really create long-term wealth by having a solid foundation. You always need to think about tapping in to get wisdom from bankers and a lawyer, an accountant, and a tax preparer, because at the end of the day, these are things that we have to report on. So I hope that makes sense. Throw a number 3 in the chat if some of this really just is an eye opener for you, because I didn't have no clue. Just like me, you may just didn't have a clue, and now it's like, this makes sense, right? So that you know how you really want to function. Now, I want to share this because, again, it's always about a startup. It's about a checklist. So if everybody can see this, and I can't see the chat, so I hope everybody's saying yes, that this was an eye opener for them. For those of you who are thinking about business, you really have to determine and sit down and kind of plan this thing out. It's one thing to say we want to jump out in faith. Been there, done that multiple times. But at the end of the day, we have to be realistic about what we're doing, because again, when we start playing with the IRS and when we start doing things that are going to involve taxes, we're going to be held accountable and responsible. And so you don't want to do this as a hobby. Yes, we can have hobbies and we can set that to the side, but we still have to show different things. So this is a really great checklist just to help you as you maneuver through. And our goal is that even after the night, even if you follow the recording, you have access to not only us, but some amazing resources here or wherever you are that you can tap into to really deep dive. And we want to be able to show you that we are available to you. So like I said, when you're thinking about business, you want to determine the type of business. One thing I love listening to, especially in hearing about this FSA program, especially for youth. I work with youth, and it's always about thinking about the next generation. Think about it in this way. As a female business owner, and we're going to tap into some things that I hope will be very inviting to you, is the fact that, okay, if I'm thinking about agribusiness and I've just been told about the USDA and learned about loans and opportunities, you've already now created a pathway that you could create generational wealth. First thing I would think of is, okay, what does an agribusiness look like in our day and time? So look, everybody's eating plant-based. A lot of companies and a lot of stores love organic foods and products, right? And who do they have to get that from? They need to get that from farmers. And when I grew up, I was up, and Miss April, maybe you can contest to this, being from that Fitzgerald area. I was near Eastman, Ryan area, and my great-grandma, they were the ones who planted the corn stalks, planted the cane, planted the sweet potatoes. We had to go dig them up, but we ate good when those sweet potato pies came out of the stove and all, sorts of things. And so now, there's nothing new under the sun. This stuff has came back to us. And so now there is market for it, and there is need for it. And if we can tap our young people to look at, there is truly wealth right now, because they're not making any more land. So that is true wealth in itself. But to look into these opportunities now to help feed the generations to come, because we can see that they're using technology to try to create meat and products. And I don't think we want to really deal with that anymore. So let's tap our babies to, especially at 10 years old. That is amazing. I'm already thinking of who I got, some cousins, some nieces, somebody. We gonna need to tap into this lane. We have to now share with them this knowledge. So we want you to share about what you are learning tonight to others that should have been, or maybe for whatever reason wasn't able to log in. But if you know somebody, you need to tap them into the resources you were provided by the website and the group and Wealth Watchers. But if you understand what an agribusiness could be for you, it could be as simple as creating some type of product or service that is supporting farmers. It could be, like she said, professional services. That's what I am in. Professional services where I do trainings and workshops and such. So if even in your corporate world right now, you could say, well, I do a lot of customer experience. I work, with individuals. I love to teach or to talk. These are ways that you can offer a business. You can, turn your expertise from your corporate arena into a consultancy, right? Because now you are just flipping your time and expertise into an actual business. But when you think about the agribusiness environment and agriculture, there are ways now, as they have shared with you, to do business with the USDA, and that is a government entity. And we're going to talk about that just a little bit. So I got to stay on time because I love this type of conversation. But understand, when you're thinking about business, you can ask yourself these questions. What has the most potential? Think about first, of course, your first customers are probably going to be family and friends. But they won't always stay your customers. So you have to be mindful of that. And sometimes they may not turn into your customers at all. So you have to look at the market and do research. Do you have industry in the experience in the industry? What are the skills that are going to be required for you to succeed? You may have to go back to school to add some skills, because even in agribusiness, technology is involved because of things that are being built, the different tools, the different equipment. So it makes sense to tap into that now so that it can help you. But do a self-assessment. Do they match what is needed? And then again, close the gaps. It might be a self-education. It's so easy to get certifications now. I'm not telling you to go back to school and try to get these big degrees, because sometimes the certifications are just as valuable as degrees, but it's your choice. But just think about the things that are going to help you be valuable in this business that you're trying to start. Okay. And then you want to really obviously test and develop the prototype, because why would it make sense to spend hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars into a business and then it's not what you like, it's not what you want to do, and you feel like, oh my gosh, what did I get into? You don't want to jump out there and do that. So it makes sense to really tap in and say, hey, let me do some investigative work. Let me try to create this. Let me test it on somebody. Let me create my own market research, right? Major companies do this. I don't care what new product you see on the market. Before it ever got to TV or before it got to a commercial, they were behind the scenes testing it on those focus groups. You ever get those emails that they say, hey, we'll pay you $100 to do this focus group? That's what big corporations do. And as small businesses, we need to tap into that, because it will save us time, it will save us effort, it will save us resources. So you want to actually, create maybe this small group of family and friends and say, hey, this is the idea I have. I want to try it on you, make sure it's not going to, hurt them or anything. But obviously you can literally test the theories, test the product, test the service, get their feedback. And guess what? This is a part of your performance and past experience, which we're going to talk about later, that helps you to say, okay, this is a valuable product or service. I can take this to the marketplace. Because again, it makes no sense for you to start a business that nobody is going to buy from. Let me say that again. It makes no sense to start a business that no one will buy from. You can love it all day long. We love what we do, but that doesn't mean it's a valuable business. And that doesn't mean that the whole world is going to buy from you. And you have to really market toward who you want to get in front of. The theory is that, if I like cheese, but my family is lactose intolerant, I can't be making cheese products. Nobody's going to eat that, right? It could be the best, but I need to sell to my mass, or I need to know the customer that I want to sell to. So that's a part of just knowing who you're trying to market to. Understand numbers, because it takes a lot to figure out what I really need to do business. We love to start businesses and say, oh, I'm going to get a grant, I'm going to apply. They've shared with you how there are really some amazing opportunities of getting grants through USDA. However, USDA just does not give grants to just anybody because you ask. It is a period of preparation that you have to perform. So that's when you're done, making sure that you are legally structured. Again, knowing the foundation of the business, how you want to set that up. Your DUNS number, which is more so of like an ID number that represents you on just the establishment of business, but also credit wise, right? Because sometimes you don't want to go into business spending money out of your pocket, because now you really are, like, I always use the term killing and eating at the same time. Like, you got to try to get out here and really make something to get the money to reinvest it and so forth. But
And
being able,
Alfreda, I'm sorry. I just wanted to pause and let everybody know in the chat, I put a link for a step-by-step on how to access your DUNS number, because I know this is a lot of information. I just want to pause a second too and ask everyone that's on what type of business, those of you who have businesses, are you a sole proprietor, a LLC, or incorporation, nonprofit? Well, I know some of you said you were, but I just want to pause and see. So Cindy has a nonprofit. What about the rest of you? Okay, nonprofit, LLC. Okay, and let's see. Anybody else? So it looks like most of them are either nonprofits, LLCs, or I think those are the nonprofits or LLCs. Let me go back. Yeah, sole proprietor. Hurtis is a sole proprietor. Dana's a S Corp, sole proprietor, LLC, LSC, and nonprofits. So those are the type of businesses that they have.
okay, thank you. That's good to know. If I had to ask Miss Cindy, what kind of nonprofit are you? And I can't see their writing since I'm sharing the screen, so you could announce it if possible.
So she could put it in the chat, or I can bring her on. Which would you prefer, Alfreda?
I know I'm sharing, so I don't think I will see them the way I'm viewing it. So you can share it from your side, because I can't see it the way I'm
So
sharing it.
Cindy has a garden therapy and plant therapy. That's her nonprofit.
Ooh, I like that. So that's a part of mental health wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Miss Cindy, I definitely can use you as an example. That is amazing. Okay. And with the LLCs and the S Corp, just if they can share in the chat, exactly what the product or service is.
And Alfreda, Cindy says she could definitely use your help.
Well, I'm definitely going to use you as some examples. Do you see anybody else that have they named what their product or service is?
They have not.
Okay. Well, I don't want to hold up time. So, but I love you sharing that, because that makes sense. Because again, every different industry is different. It has some different components, obviously, of whether it is a product or service. And I love the fact of nonprofits, because you still have to structure. Even though I'm not the expertise, I know some amazing people, and they and Carrie and Hurtis know some amazing people who are in that space specifically. But you do have to run your nonprofit as a business. You have to definitely make sure that it has a strong foundation, and you don't have to run it out of your pocket. That's one thing I hate seeing, when you see people with vision and a mission for the community, and they think that I got to run this solely out of my hands. So that's a real good thing. But having your done.
Oh, and Alfreda, Dana stated that she let me go back. Hold on, Dana. She has her S Corp is insurance. However, she's considering an LLC for her farming and livestock. And you can have multiple business, Alfreda. And I think that's important too to share. Even you can have a nonprofit and a for-profit, and they can coordinate with each other. So
That is so good. That is so true. And now you have, even here in Jacksonville, you have government entities that are really going to promote the opportunity of businesses working with nonprofits and vice versa. I myself actually love working with nonprofits because I know that sometimes they have an audience that can use my services, you know, whether that's training, whether that's development. But even when it comes to products, when, you know, hearing Miss Cindy talk about that plant therapy, garden therapy, that is a part of a wellness benefit that a lot of corporations could touch on, but I'm not going to go into detail because I mean, I can get way off topic and we're not doing that tonight. But I love the fact that, you know, to understand your business and its various streams of how it can really serve community, how it can serve, you know, the marketplace at large is really important. And I think that one thing that this workshop is here to do is to really help you to understand just making sure you got a very strong foundation to grow. It's one thing to have foundation and not be able to grow, but you got to have it. So one thing we're talking about is, like I said, to make sure that you know, get your DUNS, and the EIN number is your employer identification number. It's a 9-digit number that is very similar. Ooh, well, that's not me. I don't know who checked back in under me. But that allows you to it's almost like your social security number, but it is strictly for your business, but also your nonprofit. And therefore it identifies, especially when you're going after, you know, grants, but also, you know, different business credit to be able to establish yourself. So those are the things that you want to, you know, definitely pay attention to. And then you also want to really develop a strategy and a plan. You know, they always say you either plan to fail, you fail to plan. Wait a minute, what is it? Fail to plan or plan to fail? I don't forgot the actual term, but I think you might know that saying, because again, you have to have a thought process. Okay, it's not just today I wake up and I want to start business and, you know, I just go out here. A lot of us have done that. And I will not say that people have not been successful with that, but is it long-term strategy? Is it really foundational to where you can build from? You know, you will run into things. So one thing about this list is that you're thinking about who are you as a business. You definitely want to have a concept of who we are as an entity, right? Nonprofit or for profit. You have to think about, why am I creating this brand? What is this about? Who am I here to serve? You want to be able to outline, what are we doing? You know, what do we do? I'm very strong on helping businesses and nonprofits build out what is called a capability statement, and definitely working with USDA and SAMs, which is government, you know, contracts and opportunities. But even on the local and state levels, you know, and federal levels, you have this need of outlining who you are. And what you do, how you do it, and your, you know, your status within industry. So we call that a capability statement. And it's basically, if I use the term, more so like a business resume. When you think about, you're really explaining to somebody who you are, what we do, how we do it, our services, our products, what makes us different, right? And then being able to highlight how we stand in industry, meaning we understand the parts of industry that we actually are focused on, our niche, so to speak. But when you are creating a business plan, you are outlining who we are, that summary, that executive summary of why you started business, what our goal is, what our focus is, right? And you're going to be outlining, obviously, financials, because they want to understand and know, even as you go after loan products and really start to build partnerships with other companies, with other agencies, and doing things, they want to kind of know, okay, what do you bring to the table? What, you know, how do you, what is the risk factor? Because in a lot of times,
Oh, I'm sorry, Alfreda, before you go into that, I think because it would be great if you could you pull up your business capability statement to show them what a business capability statement, and while she's doing that, I'm being Havana in the chat. So I just added a link about going in to getting your SAM's number. And while I will attest, while Alfreda is doing that, especially Cindy, you being a nonprofit, is that you will have to have a SAM's number in order to get most grants. That's the first thing they're going to ask you. And so, if you don't already have a SAMS number, I definitely would highly recommend that you go ahead and get it. And you can always go back in because you have to renew the SAMS. You have to renew your SAMS number every year. So and you can always go in and change the different codes, etc. But everything one leads to the other. So before you can get your SAMS number, they're going to be asking you for your DUNS number. So you definitely want to get your DUNS number. And while Alfreda is looking up there, just in the chat, yes if you have your DUNS number, no if you currently don't have a DUNS number. Cindy saying no. April saying no. No. So nobody has a DUNS number. So the homework assignment for everyone is to get your DUNS number. We put information in the link. It's not a difficult process, but you definitely want to get your DUNS and your SAMS number. And if this is something we need to pull you guys back together, please let us know. ASAP. We got homework. Is that before registering as a farm? No, Cindy, you need to register as a farm first because you want to go ahead and get your farm number. Seta said already done. Seta, do you mean you already have your farm number? I'm certain you have your farm number already, Seta. Yes. Because Seta, you've actually have you participated in EQIP? No, you've never gotten an EQIP. Wait, yes, no, no. Okay, well, I don't know why. I can't believe you've never gotten an EQIP cost share program, Seta. You definitely with your land, you should definitely have a couple of practices that you should have been able to take advantage of. That is and then let me see. Alfreda, if you can't find your business capability statement, I have it, so I
You
can
don't
share
see,
it.
you don't see it right now on the screen?
No, no,
Ooh, I
because
got it.
did you put yourself off of video?
It's a new share. I see what it is. Okay, here we go. I was still stuck on another screen. How about now?
Okay, there we go. But now we don't see you.
Oh, that's
Hold
crazy.
on. Let me let me get in here.
You know
Let's
what
see.
I should
And
do
no,
is
I think I did something, but hold on.
Curtis, do you still see that screen?
No, we can see the screen, but we can't see you. You have to turn your video back on.
Oh, there it is. Okay, it is off. My bad. How about now?
We can see you.
Okay. All right. So, for
And if
those,
you could, Alfred, if you can make it big, if you can make your business capability full screen.
let's see. If I can, let's see, present full screen. Ooh, how about that?
There you go.
Okay.
And if you could just make it zoom in and make it a little larger.
Let's see, can it allow me to zoom?
It's at the bottom of your screen. There's a magnify. Yeah. Come back over. Come back over. Come right there.
Okay. Let's see. Let's get it. Okay. So I
There
know.
we go. That's enough. Yeah.
So this is just one of many examples. And because like I said, my background was in workforce development, when I learned about this document and its value to businesses, but already it's a requirement when it comes to government contracting opportunities, it was a requirement. So small businesses and entrepreneurs, we really never knew about this. And I went through a free program here in Jacksonville through our chamber called Jax Bridges, and we learned about this. I literally was able to take this training and say, hey, I could add that as a service. So I support small businesses and nonprofits and helping them to build this out, because I knew the example of how you need to tell a story on paper. That's how I look at this. And so for your business or nonprofit, you have to take that strategy of helping somebody to see what you see. Because again, we love people to want our businesses and products and services. But again, if they don't see a need, they don't buy. So we have to be able to share that with them. And so this is just a version, because a lot of times you do not need your picture on it. I just really love that photo from, a photo shoot. So I just decided to put it up there. And one of my colleagues gave me the moniker of the capability connector, because they looked at how I was able to connect people. But
And Alfreda, can you put it down so we can see your picture? Can you scroll down a little bit?
She wants to see the picture. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, here we go. Can you
Come
see it
down some more. There you go.
So think about what I said earlier, that when you are thinking about your business plan, but also with this document, and they go hand in hand, this is a marketing tool. A lot of times we think our business card is really going to help people remember us. It does not. We know we can lose business cards. They can sit in the bottom of your purse like mine. But when you think about a document that literally can get in front of someone to help them make a better decision about utilizing your product or service as a business or nonprofit, you need to think about this strategy of even this is more than a brochure, because again, you're trying to sell with those products, but this here is about decision making. And when you think about it, think about what I said. Your business plan has to have an executive summary. It's really sharing about who the business is and who you serve. So you see at the top under my company name that is telling you what I do. It's telling you a little bit about the different streams that I kind of like work in, which is being a speaker, being a workshop facilitator, strategist, trainer. And it's highlighting the things that I feel like are the value that I can bring to working with a company or organization, right? Then I told you about what we call past performance, which is really like your past experience. Because think about it, when you had to get your corporate job, you were able to highlight to them where you learned what you do, right? And I think Hurtis had shared earlier that with even FSA, they want to know, even as a farmer, who have you worked with? How did you gain the experience when you are actually focused on, dealing with livestock, or, dealing with, plants and growing, produce and different things that you are trying to sell or do for them, regardless of the industry. So now that past performance is highlighting to them to make a respectable decision, informed decision. Who have you done this work with before? And so here it is outlining to you that I have worked with the city of Jacksonville. I've worked with different organizations, nonprofits as well as for-profit, and they are like a reference for me, right? Because they are able to say, we've done business with her, we've contracted with her, she's done this portion, that portion. But these are the things that obviously can help, help someone say, well, okay, if I see where Miss Cindy is doing work now with USDA, that really qualifies her to work with me too, because they're just looking at that as a reference. Here you will see that as we go down, I'm able to, let's see, can I do it? Oh, go down for me, please. Okay. Oh, I'll go up. You can see that under expertise, I'm able to highlight exactly what I offer as a entity. So for me, I am a for-profit consultant that works with nonprofits and for-profits. But here I have outlined on your left side that these are the things that I specialize in. They always say you can be a jack of all trades, master of none, but you definitely need to know where your point is. And in your business plan, you're able to highlight that as well. And then you also are able to show strategy of how you receive revenue, how you make revenue, the different things that you do. So you should be able to really articulate that to people that you want to do business with, for partner with, such as joint ventures and collaborations. That's huge right now, especially with businesses and nonprofits. If you are going to do business with the USDA, they want to know, why should we partner with you? And you need to be able to be very strong in telling them this is what you bring to the table to help meet the needs of a community, a city, a state, a nation. Those are the things that are really required now. Even here, you see a part of my past performance is different awards, different affiliations. I believe in just knowing what's going on in the world. So being a part, even as businesses, your network is your net worth. And you really need to highlight and make sure that you are around the right people who are actually able to, help you in business, because you do need to know your competition, because there's always trends, there's always different things in industry. Hurtis mentioned that the USDA is always updating. Why? Because there's technology that is changing day after day that is affecting how we do things in the agribusiness sector. But not only that, but also all across the world. So you think about healthcare, you think about IT, you think about advanced manufacturing, logistics. Those are major things going on, not just in Jacksonville, but even in our rural areas. But guess what? A lot of people in rural areas don't get this type of education and knowledge. So they don't get a chance to grow. You have opportunities even now to do business on a state, a local level, which could mean city government. City government needs to use your products and services as well. And so you have to be able to articulate to them how you can bring value and why they need to work with you. And I also love the fact that being a woman-owned business, being a minority-owned business, being veteran-owned right now, being, maybe disadvantaged, having, any type of kind of like it is a I guess don't want to get the right word, but it literally creates a set aside. And a set aside is just that they really understand that sometimes it's harder for those marginalized communities to have the same opportunity for contracts and such. And so now that is a way of looking for certification that identifies you in that category and literally helps other people to recognize your value, right? It doesn't lower, your properties of being in business, but it actually is an advantage. And even being in Jacksonville, knowing that most of you are here from Jacksonville, that is really huge for you to tap into, to really learn more about woman-owned small businesses, to learn more about minority-owned small businesses, those certifications that hold value. Even on the local level, we have our disadvantaged business enterprise through JTA, our Jacksonville Small and Emerging Business certification through the city. There's just a lot of things that you can tap into. So again, just stay in contact with the group and with Wealth Watchers, because we just know where the resources are to help you to get educated and make sure you know what fits your business, your product or service, so that it can help you scale or grow. Okay.
And as we wrap this part up, Elfrida, and we get ready to wind down, because I know, again, this capability statement is something that when you're doing business, as Elfrida stated, they're going to ask you about the business capability statement. So while Elfrida was talking, again, I'm encouraging you to go in the chat, because there's always great information in the chat. And so I did put information in there about a business canvas model, which is a great way to do your business plan. A lot of groups still want SBA, etc., still want the full-fledged business plan, but the business canvassing model is definitely a great way for you to get your thoughts on paper and get it organized, and to be able to talk about your business in a very concise manner. The other thing that I put in there, I put in the chat, was information on how to get your SAMS number. Again, when doing business with the government, they're going to ask you about your SAMS number. And I also put information in here about a capability statement. So even if you're looking at this as a recording and you're not in Jacksonville, there are some organizations that are in your city, no matter where you are. That's SBA, which stands for Small Business Administration. there's SCORE, which SCORE has a great website, and they have a wealth of information about starting your business, as well as, you know, whether it's AI, which if you're not using Chat GPT, at least the private person.
How you going, my brother? I tried to make it too. I was coming. I'm on call. I went around the side. Yeah.
You should have came down through the middle. You tried to go.
I muted him.
So that was funny. But anyway, so you can do that one. You can use SCORE. But there are so many different resources, and we know in this 2 hours we've given you a lot of information. And so, and we know that in some of these cases you really need to dive down some more. And so just understand that this is just the beginning of it, and that Hurtis is here, I'm here, Afrida's here. We're all here to assist you. But at this point, because we've got about 14 more minutes left, and we want to open it up to you guys. And what I'm going to do, because I want to see your lovely faces, I think I am going to attempt to see if I can make you guys. Let's see here.
Can I say one last thing? So like I said, this is a lot of information that you guys received. It's going to be, you're not going to retain all of this information at the top of your brain, you know, in your head. That's why we ask you to track your information, organize the space, your office space at home for your business. Make sure that you're very organized with keeping up with your records and tracking your progress, because it's going to help you in the long run. And when there is information or knowledge that you need, you'll be able to go to it as a reference. All right.
Great. So now is the time. You guys get to ask questions if you want to raise your hand. So who has questions? Or what was this information beneficial for you? So we need you in the chat to let us know if you have any questions or if this information is beneficial. And the last thing we're going to say is for everyone to type in one takeaway from tonight. If all the forms are on the website. No, with the forms that we sent you, what it clarify.
For those who, everyone who registered, I will send you a email with the forms that were presented, as well as a few additional documents that you will need. And then if there's any other information that you may need, just reach back out and let me know.
And so some of the comments was, of course, Cindy wanted to know if all the forms was on the website. So, and any forms that are not, Cindy, we will make sure that you get. Latanya said absolutely beneficial, and my takeaway was to work on the capability statement. Seta said that her takeaway is to make a manual for all the documents is helpful. She said this information was helpful. She's needed to have many of these documents done by now. She appreciates the guidance so that we can make sure to get it done. And Natalia said she was very appreciative. Frida is like, my takeaway is the need for a capability statement and how it can assist our businesses. And, you know, and my takeaway, guys, is that no matter how many times we do this particular workshop, it is truly my takeaway that we need to continue to do it. because let's see, Cindy said, my takeaway was learning that I needed to register to be recognized in the sector. Absolutely, Cindy. And especially with the work that you're doing. And what we didn't talk about, Cindy, for you is if you are a nonprofit, grants.gov. And April said, yes, it was beneficial. Let's see.
Oh, can I say, so, when if you guys go to the website, they provide you with upcoming events and opportunities that they have. So funding opportunities, or like I say, just events, workshops, anything like that, they're listed on the website so that you can be up to date. So if there's a grant or loan or anything like that that you guys may want to apply for, you can go to the website and they'll let you know whether or not you've missed that date or not.
Yeah, and also, guys, before you leave, everything we talked about, make sure you go into the chat and copy and paste the links that we put in there. And let me see if I can make it easier on you guys and do them again so that you don't have to go through all of the chats to see. Okay, here's the one on youth loans. Okay, that's the one on youth loans. And I am going through and resending. Let's see. This is the one on how to obtain your DUNS number. Um, mm, mm, mm. And Hurtis and Alfreda, while I'm doing this, also, Alfreda, where can they find more information on business formation? Like I send everybody to score.org.
Okay, my fur baby wants to be talkative, but definitely you have your SBDC that can offer a lot of information.
They also have templates as well that you can utilize.
As well as you have, I know we have a Black Chamber of Commerce, we have our Jacksonville Chamber of Commerce. There's a lot of resources online that can really give you templates, but also information to, help you to go through these processes.
And I would like to also add that when you do go through when you do go through these websites, Score SBA, they're gonna show you modules that you can utilize for your professional development and some of the things that you're learning, and it's going to actually track the information that you're getting and that you're going through. So make sure that you keep track of that knowledge, print that out so that you can be able to show that, hey, look, I did cover this information, and make sure you guys are taking notes so that you can't have it to go back to and refer to, especially when you're trying to build up your business plan. Because like I say, it's a lot of information that's covered, and you're not going to be able to sit down right now and like just do everything right now. So make sure that you're taking notes so that you can go back and reference and be able to get that done.
And what I am, like I said, I am in the chat. So hopefully you guys are in here and you're pulling all of this information down for the chat. And after I'm gonna put this last one in here, Alfreda, and everyone is asking for your contact information.
I just put my email. I know you can find me on LinkedIn. It really highlights. I am a SCORE mentor. So as Hurtis said, you will find a lot of modules that are self-paced. That is amazing because everybody doesn't learn on the same level as everyone else. So with all of the websites that are being shared, just know that you can take a lot of these courses and workshops being self-paced, that you can take your time to learn and understand them so that you are making, good decisions to make sure it's the right fit for your business.
And so the last one I am going to put in is the SCORE website. So what we'll do is we'll leave this up here for the next 5 minutes because we said we would be done at 8 o'clock. So we're giving you 5 minutes back of your time, but we'll stay on for this 5 minutes. Again, I want to give everyone an opportunity to make sure that you capture all the links that are in the chat. And once again, I want to say thank you for not seeing it robbery of your time to spend 2 hours with us on a Monday. For information, as you can tell, we're very passionate about, and that is supporting our small businesses and helping them to identify opportunities to do business either with USDA or just to make sure that you have your business set up effectively so that no matter what business sector you're in, that you can make sure that you are getting the information you need in order to be successful in your business. So again, my name is Carrie Davis. I'm the president and CEO of Wealth Watchers, and I thank you for coming. Hurtis, do you want to, can you put your contact information in the chat?
Yes, ma'am, I can. And also, the USDA wants to see that you have 3 years, at least 3 years of experience, which means a well-documented business and everything, all the supporting documents to go with it, before you start actually receiving funding from them. So make sure that you guys are keeping track of what you're doing throughout your journey. And thank you all again for coming on. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And we also have some more upcoming workshops and things like that to assist you guys. Be looking out on our webpage and on our social media as well.
Let's see our last comments in here. Cindy said, thank you so much. Seta said, want to be ready. Thank you. I'm glad, you guys. And does everyone have all the links in the chat, or do anyone need more time? So if you have all the links in the chat, just say yes. Perfect. So with that being said, it looks like everyone has all the information. So I am going to bid you all a good night, and we look forward to working with you. And again, if you have any questions or you need more information, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.